and guidance in planning this event. I also thank our ambassadors and High Commissioners of India in all the partner countries represented here today for joining us virtually. Considering the tight time schedule, let me first invite Sri Prabhat Kumar, Special Secretary, Economic Relations and Development Partnership Administration in the Ministry of External Affairs, to give his welcome remarks. Sir.
Good afternoon. Honorable External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Shankar, Honorable Minister for Chemical and Fertilizers and Health and Family Welfare, Dr. Mansukh Mandaviya, Secretary Pharma, Ms. S. Aparna, High Commissioners and Ambassadors, colleagues from Department of Pharma and Ministry of External Affairs, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is a pleasure for me to welcome you all for this session on Pradhan Mantri Bhartiya Janaushadhi Pariyojana, that is Prime Minister's People's Pharmacy Program of India. In the recently held Voice of Global South Summit, there was a session of health ministers during which many countries expressed their concerns on health matters affecting them and the need for an equitable and inclusive mechanism for universal access to health care. The COVID-19 pandemic has exposed our vulnerabilities in the area of health. Countries were caught off guard and went through a lot of suffering. This session today will be an important step in our endeavor to support our partners in making access to healthcare equitable and affordable. India believes in the forging of relationship that is rooted in its civilizational ethos of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. That is, the whole world is one family. Being a developing country, India recognizes and relates to the challenges countries in the developing world face. Today's session also is in tune with our developmental partnership philosophy, where India's approach has been consultative, outcome-oriented, demand-driven, and people-centric. As you may be well aware, Indian pharmaceutical industry is capable of providing essential life-saving medicines at affordable prices. During the pandemic, we provided vaccines, medicines, and other medical supplies and equipments to more than 150 countries. Excellencies, our theme for the G20 presidency is One Earth, One Family, One Future. It is our endeavor to share India's experience and learnings and models as possible templates for others, particularly in the developing world, and to promote a universal sense of oneness. As you would discover through the presentations and interactions today, the PMBJP or People's Pharmacy model is effective in making healthcare accessible and affordable. I would let the experts in Department of Pharma explain the elements of the scheme. I once again welcome you all in this important session and hopeful of productive interactions and concrete outcomes that can be pursued in the days ahead. Thank you very much.
May I now request the Honorable Minister for Chemicals and Fertilizers and Health and Family Welfare, Dr. Mansukh Mandaviya, to kindly give his remarks. Sir.
Honorable External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Shankar ji, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I am extremely happy that we are all here for a common noble cause of affordable health care, one of the Sustainable Development Goals. Last month, I had the pleasure of hosting the Health Ministers session of the Voice of Global South Summit. The intervention of several ministers of health reinforced that improving the health and pharma sector, including establishing robust supply chain for pharma product, is a major priority for the developing world, especially in the aftermath of COVID-19 pandemic. As a health minister, I can say our goal is to focus on improving access and affordable of medicine and medical device for our citizens and to the world. India has strong generic medicine industries with 50% exports. One of every 5 pills in generic drugs in produce in India. So, India, in fact, contributes in a big way for making medicines affordable for people in many countries across the globe. Our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji always want people-oriented governance. Since 2014, our government has worked to extend affordable healthcare through various programs, including cashless treatment, opening health and wellness centers, and popularizing generic medicines through Pradhan Mantri Bhartiya Janaushadhi Pariyojana. The Pradhan Mantri Bhartiya Janaushadhi Pariyojana is our flagship program to make available generic drugs of the best quality to our citizens at very affordable price. Through this initiative, medicines are made available to common men at price 50% to 80% lower than the commercial market. This does help the low income and middle income families, but there are 3 other benefits. One, it is a source for entrepreneurs to start retail business, and thus it adds to employment. 2, it is popular provides a widespread benefits to its citizens that ultimately increase the goodwill for the government. 3, it is a leverage model, which means the budgetary support is relatively low. I see that many developing countries import large share of their medicines requirements. What is the reason? Either pharmaceutical manufacturing has not yet developed in these countries, or their population size is too small for a viable pharmaceutical sector. Often, they import high-cost patient drugs by spending millions, even though affordable generic are available. In the spirit of sharing any popular initiative that can increase welfare to the people, we feel that this model of Janaushadhi Pariyojana program can be shared with your countries. This will give you the option to introduce a similar program for your citizens. This will bring economic benefits for poor and middle class household in your country. It will also reduce the burden on your import bill. I will generate employment for your educated youth and contributes improved access to quality healthcare products. If your country feels that this is a model that can be replicated, our Indian missions and the Pradhan Mantri Bhartiya Janaushadhi Pariyojana teams are ready to help in rolling out the program through your own government departments. In line with the civilizational ethos of Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, that is, happiness and health for all. We are steadfast in our commitment to work with our partners' countries toward achieving it. Today's event demonstrates this. I firmly believe that this discussion will help us in drawing synergy and lay the base for future collaboration and also play an important role in deepening our relationship, moving from trade to welfare. I extend my gratitude to Excellencies for reconciling the importance of this initiative and joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. May I now request the Honorable External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Shankar, to kindly give his remarks.
My ministerial colleague, Sri Mansukh Bhai Mandaviya, colleagues on the dais, excellencies, friends. The event we are gathered here to attend and learn from is one where the Ministry of External Affairs has partnered the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare as part of what we consider to be an important global reach out. All over the world, health is a very, very critical issue. And the last 3 years, the years of the pandemic, have given it perhaps an exceptional salience. But it's not just the pandemic which has brought this to the center of the governance challenges in our societies. This was an issue which well preceded that and would continue to pose problems for all of us, even as the pandemic recedes. Now, when it comes to health, someone more expressive than me actually defined it in terms of a 3A principle. If something is not affordable, it is then not accessible. And if it is not accessible, it is not available. So there is a direct correlation between cost and usage. We can have situations, in fact, we do have situations in many societies where it's not the lack of medicines that is the problem. It is the affordability and accessibility to those medicines, that is. So today's event really focuses on that AAA linkage, that how do we actually address globally the challenge of making medicines available to our people, to all sections of our society on a sustainable basis. Now, because of COVID, today when we look at, when we think about globalization, one of the manifestations of globalization in recent times has been pandemics. But globalization has two sides to it, like so many other things in life. The same interdependence, the same interlinkages can also produce solutions. And we saw even during the pandemic period that different countries were able to step forward with their capacities, with their competitive capacities at times. And it was really by lowering costs, not only by expanding production, that we were able to meet the COVID challenge in the manner in which the world did. So we are here today to highlight the fact that for every country today, health costs is very, very central to the quality of governance. For developing countries, it is also something which is very central to their progress, to their prosperity. And again, as I said, even among developed countries, given the income disparity, you look even at a society like the US, which is shifting much more in the direction of generics, that the global debate on how to make health access more affordable. That is really what has brought us here together. Now, where India is concerned, we, as you could, since you all live here, you can see this is very much a society in the midst of transformation. Every day, every week, every month, something is happening in some socio-economic front. And our effort has been to naturally absorb and reflect on our own experiences, but also share them with the international community. Now, I am very cognizant of the fact that very often our experiences may be unique to us on scale, unique to us in the nature by which, how we have addressed it. But I do believe that, in this world, there is a learning that we can have from each other through an exchange of experiences. That is very much what we are hoping to promote during our G20 presidency as well. And certainly when we undertook the Voice of Global South consultations, the focus on, what are the diverse needs of the world, what are the priorities, how do we find a common denominator, how do we put it across and prioritize it in the global agenda. Those were really the factors which guided the Voice of Global South exercise. So do consider this as another facet of that thinking. I think, as my colleague, the Health Minister, brought out, we have the example of experience that what we are here to talk about is not just something which is a good idea or even something which has been done. It has actually today taken root in the society in a very, very massive way, and we can see its impact. I mean, as people in the field of politics who are public representatives, when we travel around in this country, if there are some examples which the average person identifies as a change, as a positive change in the quality of their life, in the ease of their living, this is one of the examples. So we are here today to focus your attention on it, and I would also mention in this regard, already our development partnerships today extend to almost 80 countries across the world in different regions. It is an endeavor, the development partnerships, that we constantly want to refresh, to make it more relevant to the needs and priorities of our partners. And we certainly believe that health is one such domain. So I'm extremely pleased today to welcome you all here, to join my colleague in this endeavor. And I hope that the interaction that will follow would be useful. From my side, I would like to emphasize is that if there is to be a practical follow-through on our discussions today, if any of you wish to see initiatives which will actually translate onto the ground in your particular countries, it is something which our development partnership side of our ministry, I think Ambassador Prabhat Kumar is there with me on the dais. Satish was there to welcome us. So we certainly hope that today's discussion can also be taken into the DPA, into the Development Partnership Administration domain. So once again, a very, very warm welcome, and I hope we have a very good conversation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. May I now request Sri Ravi Dadich, CEO of Pharmaceuticals and Medical Devices Bureau of India, to come up on stage and share the salient aspects of the scheme. Thank you.
Yes, presentation please. Yeah, a very warm welcome to